yet again to another episode of Cloud Unscripted, where there is no fluff, no rehearsed speeches, apart from the intro. Yet again, I'm sitting here with my buddies Tommy and Sebastian. For the next half an hour or so, we are going to go completely unscripted and talk about cloud tech and whatever else comes up during our discussions. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's dive into this. And I think that, Sebastian, you have brought us a topic for this particular episode.
Sure, it's tangentially related to cloud. It's more about the market and the current state of it. In my opinion, especially in Finland, private side is not really doing that great. The public, sure, that there's a lot of spend there, but if we look at the trend for the past year or so, it's been quite different, and also the focus has shifted really heavily. I mean, back in the glory days of the COVID, yet again, we had a lot of landing zones being built and a lot of infra migrations and all this kind of stuff. And nowadays, if you get gigs, it's more of data stuff. What do we do with the data we already have in the cloud? We don't have these type of massive, let's build a landing zone for Kone type of stuff anymore, because, well, unsurprisingly, they have a landing zone already.
Yeah, but you can always build a new one.
Well, you have a
better
point.
One.
Yes, you have a point there, because there's a lot of really shitty ones built back in the day.
And even the good ones that have like gone sour, they haven't been updated in many years. So
yeah, I think that is one problem, that basically you build something in cloud,
which is good.
Yes, but then you don't maintain it. So basically, you have built
which is
something.
Bad.
Yes, exactly. So when you have built something, let's say 5 years ago, and you have just ran it, like in the mentality that don't fix it because it's not broken, well, it will get broken probably at some point in time.
In October, when one of the key components depreciates and it gets pulled out of Azure, and you're screwed.
It's like if you go to the gym 5 times a week for 3 months, you'll get fit. Eventually, you'll get fit, but if you don't do it for the next 5 years, you won't be fit.
You won't stay fit.
You won't stay fit. That's how it goes, and it's the same with the cloud environments. I was quite surprised actually when I looked at the cloud adoption framework recently. It's not the same anymore. I mean, it has updated along the way, and there's new stuff there. I mean, Microsoft version of it. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Do you remember some like key things that caught your eye?
Well, for example, the landing zone stuff. There's like different types of landing zones that you can. Also, the security part, there was much more to it and more in depth than before, because the security touches all the other parts. It's something that goes through all the other phases there. I didn't read every word of it. It's quite extensive, but it was
always has been quite extensive.
Always has been, yeah. I know. So, did you know that from all the Microsoft Learn documents, you can export them to PDF, so you can take that 6,500 page cloud adoption framework to your summer holiday and have fun with it.
I will definitely do that.
I should print it out and have it in the toilet as the toilet reading.
Yeah, think about it. Have the cloud adoption framework printed to actual toilet paper, and every time you pull something, you read it before you wipe it. That would be so smart, actually.
That's big brain time right there, man.
Yeah, I remember me and Sebastian, we delivered quite a lot of those COF workshops back in today. That was pretty extensive.
But again, when we discuss the market, not a lot of people are asking for COF workshops or training or that kind of stuff anymore.
From my point of view, it seems that there are trends in our field. So at the
AI, woo!
Yeah, at the moment it's AI, and with the AI comes the data. So that's sort of like what's on the surface and the most hot topic at the moment. Of course, we do other stuff as well. That hasn't gone anywhere, but it's not really sexy to open the meeting with, hey, do you want to talk about cloud adoption framework?
Or do you want to talk about virtual machines or something like that? Even though quite a lot of stuff still runs on.
I would actually like to talk about VMs, because we haven't talked it in years with any customers, so it would be refreshing to talk about.
Yeah, we could actually have an episode about virtual machines and how they are working, like spot VMs and stuff like that.
Yeah, put like 5 different network interface cards there, and have them all have their separate NSGs, and then try to do some networking.
But why?
Okay, let's get back to the market, guys.
Yeah, let's get back to the market.
So I think you touched on a good subject, the data part. That's really reared its head in recent times. With my previous employer, a lot of the projects were data stuff that the clients wanted. And with the AI, woo, AI, we also get these data governance discussions, which are lovely. Because sales guys, not only that, but I mean, if you don't have data classification, you don't have all of these safety guards in place, you can't really utilize AI in your company because everything will leak and probably people will see things they shouldn't see.
That's actually my touch point to this AI hype, because I'm not an AI architect or data architect, but the purview side of things and labeling and because recently I think it was rebranded to something else, but we had this AI hub and stuff you can do there is something that I'm interested in a lot.
A lot of it is good, but what kind of frustrates me with these gigs is that you have like eager sales guys selling very quick, easy to adopt AI things. Sure, I mean, adopting Copilot for your organization isn't really that expensive, like just buying the licenses, hitting it on, doing it. But if you don't have the data governance in place, it suddenly becomes a very expensive little project.
Yeah, and then of course, when it comes to Copilot, it is not just that you enable it, you need to train your people to actually adapt it to their daily work routine. So you actually get something out of it.
Did you actually read the news a couple of days ago, I think it was this week, that the city of Helsinki banned the use of AI from all the teachers?
I read it today.
Too many actually, guys. No?
Yeah, so teachers cannot use AI.
They are instructed not to use so that they won't leak any sensitive data there.
Again,
I think
governance.
I think they stated that it will take some weeks or maybe even months to come up with the policy of how to use AI tools in their work. So we are sort of seeing that some entities, they have hard time adopting.
Let's be honest, the budgets are limited for IT, so there won't be new landing zones if people are focusing on their data governance, getting AI adopted into the organizations. So this has an impact into the cloud infra side of things, which we are maybe quite familiar with to work with, and impacts basically what we do.
Yeah, but I think that it's the one thing that AI has brought us is that it starts to combine everything under one umbrella. Like in the past, you had the infra guys and then the data people and then the development and networking and security. So now basically, as you are creating an AI platform, for example, you basically need the knowledge about all of those to be able to create that.
That is true.
Yeah, so in a sense, like people who have been, for example, Azure Infra architects, they may need to learn a couple of new things in order to succeed with that kind of project.
Yeah.
And similar comes with like network people and data people and whatnot. For example, I have been looking much more into different ways to store data in Azure platform, or use like different kind of like a third-party databases and Fabric and Microsoft SQLs and stuff like that. Not particularly in AI scenario, but otherwise also.
But this is again, I think, demand driven by the customers. They have a lot of data. Now they've like started 5 years ago putting it all into the cloud. And 5 years later, they would like to actually do something with the data to generate more business cases, more revenue, more anything with it, and not just have it stored there for fun.
At some point, the cost of storage went down dramatically.
Yeah.
It opened up this idea that you can store data even though you're not sure if you need it. So you just store everything just in case. I think not all the customers that have cloud environments, they're storing some data there. It can be that it's a software as a service, so you're not handling the infrastructure there, but they don't know what data they have there. So they know they have a lot of data somewhere, and probably different places also in different format. And now when they need to get some sort of an insight out of those, they need to start combining them to some sort of unified platform. Like, well, I don't want to mention it, but Fabric might be one of them. So you could have those under one umbrella and then start combining and do all that data scientist stuff.
Do you know what's also funny that's really kind of picked up speed lately, in my opinion? And it's this type of like the modern work part that at least my company doesn't really touch currently. My previous employer did.
Quite a lot.
Yes, a lot of it.
How do you define modern work?
Oh, it's how do you set up your teams? How do you set up all the groups there?
So collaboration tools.
Yes, collaboration tools. How do you set up a SharePoint that makes any sense and people can use it?
Does it include like virtual desktop stuff and?
Probably. I'm not really into that kind of deliveries, so I don't really know the nitty-gritty details. Yeah. But I would assume so.
I haven't done any modern work stuff, and I get along with the teams, but it's eating my battery lifetime. So we have a sort of a love-hate relationships.
But there's demand for it. There's a lot of demand for it, and the deliveries are much shorter than we are maybe used to. It's a week, couple of weeks project.
Yeah. In my head, that topic, it's hard because if I'm doing environment in Azure, infra, maybe some platform components and whatnot, it's easier because it doesn't involve the end users. But modern work does include how people work. I'm glad that I'm not doing that because I don't have to deal with the feedback and the lashback that comes with hey, you,
why are you changing
everything? Yeah, the layout is different and the color scheme is different and hey, where's the dark mode and does this run on my MacBook?
My Linux distro used by 4 people in the entire world.
Yeah, that I compiled the kernel myself, so does it run on this?
At the same time, it's challenging. I know you worked in a security specific company previously and the engagements were also quite short there. Yeah. So there's in that way a bit of similarity and you have a lot of doing the same over and over again. Yeah. And that's sort of maybe why I don't want to do modern work, because it becomes like these short engagements where you do the same
repetitive work.
But I see that with the modern work stuff, it is basically try to make people work more efficiently.
Make their work life better.
And I think that we also could learn a thing or two when it comes to modern work.
I need to be one of the end users.
I work nowadays mainly on like Microsoft Stack, so there is SharePoint, there is Teams, Outlook, and they work so I can get my work done. But then again, of course, I have been starting to think that how could I do some kind of automation for the certain things, and I'm starting to wonder a bit maybe towards Teams platform, as I need to use it like daily nowadays. Since in the previous company we used Slack.
And Google tools.
Yeah, as it is now the complete Microsoft stack, so it has been sort of an adjustment for myself.
Same. I had to swap when I swapped companies, and after that it's been the full Microsoft stack, and boy, it took a while.
Now that I think the calendar section in Teams got boosted some months ago, back in autumn, and since then I've been wondering, why do we actually even need Outlook as a different application? Why can't we have our emails in the Teams so I can just have one application open
It's probably 2 different teams doing it in Redmond and they don't talk to each other. But I think, Tommy, you touched on a good thing when we were talking before the recording earlier, that you can tell that the market is not exactly really in a healthy place when you have the CRM is full of closed not won deals everywhere.
Yeah, or open opportunities. I know that many companies have their CRM is full of stuff, but the decisions take so long, and there's radio silence from the customer because they are not sure how to use their budget wisely. So it's just this sort of stagnant situation. It's hard to actually, we were talking about earlier about how to arrange human resources to it comes as an obstacle for those people, team leads and managers, how to arrange people's work when the expected work is really hard to schedule because they are hanging in the CRM.
And also the price, what you get is just in Finland going down.
Maybe that's why the customers are waiting. They're waiting for the price to go even lower before they
sorry guys, by the price we mean the hourly rate that you get for your consultancy work.
Yeah, but I think that one reason for that is that now there is loads of public sector projects going on, and then for those projects I think that the pricing is one major thing. So then basically you need to get prices down, and that then also lowers the price on the whole market. Well, of course, economical situation is not so
Super
great.
hunky-dory.
Yeah, but it seems that it's going on a better direction.
Slowly, I think, and I guess a lot of the other actors in the market have started offering near and far shore outsourcing.
Yeah.
So I think that's an impact on the pricing in Finland as well.
But what do you guys think about? To me, it seems I'm not working with the public sector, but to me, it seems like the cheapest price will always win.
Not entirely. You haven't done any RFPs or RFIs for.
No,
the
I'm
public
not
sector.
usually working on those.
Okay, I've done a bunch. So they have the point system. So
Yeah.
you can get a certain amount of points for the price, but it's not the only absolute.
I get that it's not the only one, but it seems to me still that mostly when you have cheap price, you can then get so many points on that maybe the quality doesn't matter that much, or maybe it will be delivered from
but
a
the
cheaper
quality
quality.
does matter in the end.
Good to hear, because I like that idea better than the cheapest price will win and the quality will be.
Yeah, guys, we've all been there. You buy something from that cheap Chinese online vendor, and you bought something from a cheap Chinese.
You bought something from Amazon, it came directly from China, and then it broke down after second use. Cheapest price did not win.
If it would just be the cheapest price, then you would read much more about those public projects in news, in tabloids.
Let's be honest, there's been a lot of public projects in the tabloids. It's been really disastrous.
I don't remember the names, but I think City of Helsinki tried to replace the application that they use for education, messages and schedules and stuff like that. They spent millions on it, tens of millions I think, and then they just abandoned it. We haven't seen anything from it other than the invoice.
And this happens all the time. So.
And where does the city get its money from?
Yeah, no, but this is also why.
Was it the casinos?
Why they aren't really that dumb on the public sector side either, that the price would only be the defining factor in these deals, luckily. Yeah. Because they've lived through this crap so many times.
So if cheap price didn't cause the shitty project, then it must be the project management that failed. If those projects didn't sort of deliver anything else than the invoice.
Yeah, I would say that there are probably a couple of things. What the customer expects, and the expectations can be really wild, and they can be impossible in some cases.
Unrealistic.
Yes. Yes, and then the other thing is that, of course, it can be a poor project management. But the things that I have, for example, seen, and probably Sebastian also, is that there are pretty unrealistic targets in some projects.
Or just really poorly defined definitions of done.
Yeah.
When is this done? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And it might be that the definition of done is initially well defined, but it changes month after month.
Yeah.
Continuously, so hitting a moving target is really hard, obviously. So
yeah, and it can be already like in the offering project that you get one documentation from customer and then you base your offer
on that.
But then, like after a month or two, when the offering phase is
here's
still
the
going
actual
on,
document.
Yes, here is another documentation. Please consider this one. And then yet again, when a couple of weeks go, and then there is a third one, and it like constantly changes. So I think that one thing is that customers themselves don't know what they need.
True, and even though I don't work with the public sector and I don't usually participate in the RFP or RFI processes, but there are consultants that consult the customer, hey, this is what you should be demanding, or so are they doing a good job then?
I guess, but at the same time...
Or are they just changing the consultant every time when you get a new description or definition of what needs to be done and how it's a different consultant giving them
that
their
also
idea.
happens, but it's very...
Or maybe nowadays it's just different co-pilot.
No, it's also that
co-pilot
even
for
if
public
you have,
sector offerings.
If you have a
consultant
consultant talking with the customers, trying to figure out what they want to send them out an offer for, if they can't articulate it to that consultant in a very efficient manner, it's still going to end up partly as guesswork, which is, in my opinion, the problem.
Right.
Even though I've seen very good requests for proposals.
For communication then.
Yeah,
as usual.
Right. But then again, like this is not just something that concerns only
no.
public sector clients, but there are also like the similar things happen in the private sector that they have no idea what they want.
Oh, even worse is the smaller the client, the more they want for absolutely nothing. We don't want to pay you, but we want everything.
Yeah, that I've seen.
We
You
should-
should always get something for free, and then
Yeah.
once you give something for free, you want
More.
more for free.
And we spend a lot of money on this, and you're looking at them and go like, yeah,
No, you're not.
You're spending like 10 grand. Well, what are you talking about?
One thing that concerns me in a sense when working with the smaller clients is that if you want to do, for example, as you do a bunch of FinOps, doing a big FinOps project for a smaller client, of course they don't want to buy it since it costs more than they can save.
Yes, and I wouldn't sell it to them either because
Yeah.
it makes no sense. But this is funny. We tried in my previous place of employment to sell FinOps to Finnish SMB clients. Even in this market, nobody was interested. They didn't even understand what it was.
Maybe that was the problem.
That's
I guess.
definitely the problem. If you don't understand what you're buying, you're not buying it.
But we even dumbed
But
it
still
down.
someones are buying it.
Yeah, but
even
no,
if they don't
it was
understand.
really, really hard. If we even dumbed it down to like really easily digestible one-sliders that don't leave anything out to guesswork. But no. And I'm like, okay, times are tough, you don't want to save money.
I don't know if this is true. I've heard once that if you save 1,000 from your expenses, it's same that if you make 10,000 as
Yeah.
sales equivalent of that. And I'm not I'm a technical guy. I don't know, but to me, saving money is also a
That's what I thought.
good way to go. Unless you want to drive your sales up all the time, and we know how easy that is in this economy. So
Question, have you guys heard anything about AWS projects in a long while? I haven't. I mean, there seems to be no demand, or am I completely lost?
well, I'm in a wrong company for that because we only do Azure.
Yeah, and I'm such invested in Azure. I haven't even discussed with AWS architects within my current company. So I have to say that I have no idea.
Because if we roll back now the camera to like 2018, there was a lot of talk about AWS projects, and we were in the Azure teams back then, at least I
Yeah.
was, and very segregated to our own tech stacks. But you still heard like they want that, they want this, and they're doing this awesome deployment project there or migrations, whatever. But nowadays, not a peep.
Nobody wants anything since there are no projects to be won.
Fair enough. But still, I find it astonishing how much AWS share in the Finnish side of things has dropped.
Yeah, or maybe it's just from our point of view since we are not working with AWS.
Yeah, it would be interesting to actually know if it's just our bubble that we
Probably.
sort of live in. I would guess that it's gone down somewhat because the demand for all of our projects which we do in Microsoft Tech Stack has also gone like, I don't know if the demand has gone down, but the decisions take longer.
Yeah.
So it feels like the demand is going down.
Yeah.
I think there is demand, but the budget is tight. So
Yes.
you have to consider and weigh in all the options. And do we do this fabric thing, or do we want security, or
Yes.
what do we want to spend this on?
In the past, it was like you should consider doing this, and then the customer is like, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
But even then it was like, oh, security, we don't maybe need to put in too much money into that one.
Yeah, and that is really strange. I
Yeah,
would say.
it is.
We've discussed this at work quite a lot after December, where there was a Finnish security incident with a big company.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys know, it started from the vendor or provider of those services. So that's something that surfaced new kind of questions from our customers that they are interested in. How do we handle our security now? So they are
Waking up.
They are waking up
Okay.
about the security side, and they don't want to be the next Valio,
Victim,
basically.
yeah.
Or headlines because they lost their access and data. And
I think
what else,
Helsingin
yeah.
Kaupunki wins this headlines thing with the
Yeah, they
shared
still.
drive. Man, they're never gonna hear the end of
Yeah,
that one.
that's why I was smiling silently when I heard that they prevented teachers to use Copilot so that they don't leak any sensitive data, and I'm like,
That
you
already
already
done,
did
man.
that part,
It's already
so
out there.
you've done that with your network drives and whatnot. So let's be honest.
That is definitely something that they should allow teachers to use, since it's definitely going to be the next.
Have the governance in place.
Yes, of course you need to have the governance in place.
But it's good that they've woken up and they are trying to put the governance and policies, how to use it in place,
of course.
so that it's clear for every teacher, because let's face it, they are not that tech savvy.
No.
Someone might be, but as a group of professionals, they are not.
It's not their core competence.
And
shouldn't be a requirement.
Yeah. Hey guys, I think it's time for our question. What have you learned since the last episode?
Well, it hasn't been that much since the last episode.
So nothing.
Basically nothing, but I would mention something, yet again, nothing Azure related at all. But like how you could record this sort of podcast with just your
I was
MacBook
just
and
thinking that I'm
like
quite sure you learned how
Yeah.
massive are the files that come when recording these type of podcasts.
They're ridiculously huge.
If there's anyone listening and you have like a unnecessary network storage somewhere lying around, I think you can just send them here.
Maybe we can just add like a NetApp files in Azure.
Guys, we should have these. Yeah.
Should we use cloud for this? No.
Definitely. I mean,
We need hardware.
130 euros free per month. That's a lot of.
Yeah.
That's a lot of storage.
Yeah, a lot of cold storage.
Locally redundant.
But yeah, actually that is something that I'm eagerly learning, how these things work. And maybe at some day we can actually get these published.
Maybe.
Somewhere.
What about you?
Not much. I try to avoid learning things at this stage of my life. It only complicates things.
You're focusing on your strong suit.
Autopilot,
Driving,
just
yeah.
like skating through life. No, I don't know.
I think what I've learned is, once again, sort of technical stuff, and goes back to the DevOps security and how to set it up. What I've learned now is that it's, as a product and feature set, it's work in progress. It doesn't yet deliver everything. Once you initially sort of look at what this is and what features I have here, and then when you start trying it out, you notice that okay, it does some things good and well, but you're still missing these parts here. So maybe they are coming later in the fall or something, hopefully. And then we'll have more complete experience with those DevOps security tools and features in Azure.
Sebastian, we definitely need to start to learn something new.
I also learned
Convincing
that
as Tommy.
they are retiring the SC400 exam, which is the information protection admin or something like that.
Yeah, and they are also retiring the Azure Data Studio.
Really?
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because of Visual Studio Code. They have implemented something in there.
Oh,
So
well,
you
actually,
see, we learned something.
Yes.
I was initially
I think that
pulled back when you said it, but if it's in VS Code, then I think it's
Yeah,
a
they
good
are
thing, because that
incorporating some
adoption rate
extensions, I
is
think.
huge. I mean, a lot of people are using VS Code, and if you can just put more features in there, that's good.
But it was quite a news when I read about it quickly, like last night. Now it's 7th of February, so it was 6th in the evening.
Because the old, what is it called, SQL Server Management Studio.
Yes, an awesome piece of software.
Awesome, it's no, it's legendary.
Just
Data
like
Studio
System
sort
Center.
of like was more cloud native tool for doing the same thing and more. And now you're saying that we don't need that anymore. So I'm glad. Less software, the better.
Has the seal learned anything?
The
Yeah,
seal.
he has been listening.
Yeah, we didn't ask any questions from the seal.
Maybe
Still
next
doesn't have any names.
Yeah, surprisingly, since it's basically half an hour since the last episode. So.
Hey, you're ruining the illusion, man.
We still need a name for the seal. So.
Absolutely.
Is
Yeah,
it a
but
boy
it's
or girl?
We don't know.
It's
Maybe.
a mystery.
It's a
It's Azure.
It is a seal.
It's a
A
seal.
seal.
So, should we wrap it up for today?
Yeah, let's wrap up this episode of Cloud Unscripted. Thanks for tuning in, and
see you next one.
bye.